The other thing that I want to ask off the back of that is, you mentioned about, marketing to about 170 countries, you say?
Yeah.
That's a lot. And how does that affect the onboard atmosphere? And how does that work for the British cruising public?
I think for the right customer, it's an amazing experience. And to give you an example, I was on MSC Splendida in November last year going, I went from Barcelona and we cruised down to Tunis and had some journalists on board. And on the second night I was on, it was a Champions League football night, and there were, I think, about 16 football matches on, all different nationalities playing. And in the sports bar, there are about 40 screens around the sports bar. Each of them was showing a different football match. And the nationalities in that bar, all supporting their teams. And it was an amazing atmosphere. Everybody was talking to each other. During that evening, I probably talked to 10 different nationalities. I was talking to Germans and Swiss and French and Belgians and Scottish and English, and it was a really great atmosphere on board, and that sort of brought home to me how well it can work, having all the different nationalities together. The shows are appeal to all nationalities. They're not specifically in any language, and the shows I've seen on board so far in the short time I've been with the company, the singing has all been British or English language songs, and we took a number of travel agents, including a number of people from Planet Cruise, on a couple of weeks ago onto one of our ships, and everyone loved the shows and said they really appealed to them. So for British market, there's really something for everyone. And I suppose for people who may be a bit nervous about travelling on an international line, the main language on board is English. Which I think is quite important to a lot of people. And I suppose when you've got 40 or 50 nationalities on board, you can't speak everybody's language. So the international language is English. So that is the main one used on board. One of the things that I heard before I joined the company was that we used to, on MSC Cruises, do our announcements on board in 5 different languages, and they were going on all the time. In the time I've been on board our ships, I've only heard announcements a couple of times, and that's when we've been in port, just to let people know which shore excursions are going. Apart from that, there's no announcements at all, which is fantastic, because when you think about it, a cruise ship is essentially a 4 or 5 star floating hotel. And I don't think you'd expect to hear announcements coming through a tannoy in a 4 or 5 star hotel shoreside. And so the approach MSC Cruises are taking is very much, this is a hotel, it's a hotel holiday, and the announcements are only there when they're really needed, rather than trying to sell something every 5 minutes to our customers.
That's very refreshing, because you're right. I think it does damper a lot of people's expectations, and also in the British holiday public makes them think of being Butlins, that kind of idea, where there's this ding dong, hi campers every few minutes. Yeah. So it's nice that you're taking that stand.
So it's very much not happening. And then I suppose MSC Cruises is right for the right sort of customer. So if you want that international ambience, you could be at dinner with maybe 3 or 4 different nationalities of people, that you're going to eat international food. So you might be, and we try and draw the food from the countries we're visiting as well. So you're in Barcelona, you'll be eating some Spanish food. You're going to Tunis, you'll be eating Tunisian food. So we are drawing influences. But we do have an unashamedly Mediterranean background. And so the main focus of the food is Mediterranean influence. So wherever you are in the world, there's a Med influence on the food. So it's not catering for meat and 2 veg or very traditional, as we might see it in the UK, very traditional palate. It is an international palate and international focus.
There's always an Italian dish normally offered, isn't there? I mean, I remember when I'd been on board a couple of times, and I've always really enjoyed the pasta dish.
Yeah.
There's always a really classic Italian dish, which for me is just absolutely perfect.
Yeah, and the roots of the company are Italian. The owners of the company, the husband is Italian. The wife
is a family-owned company, isn't it?
It's a family-owned company.
Very rare in the cruise industry.
Yeah,
you say that straight away. Very rare.
We're one of the few family-owned companies, and to be the 3rd biggest cruise line in the world and be a family-owned company is quite an amazing thing. And I think that brings it back to our family focus. As a business, we are very focused on families and getting families on board. So we have 3 children all year round on all cruises up to the age of 18 when they're sharing with their parents. So there is a great deal to be had for families travelling with us at any time of year, whether it be high season or low season.
And that's any time of year?
Any time of year, 18. Any ship under 18. If you're sharing a cabin with your parents, you're travel free.
And the facilities on board, you know, for people that are watching that may be thinking, well, you know, what kind of facilities do MSC offer my children?
For families?
For families, yeah.
So we've got family clubs, we've got 4 different age groups in the family, children's clubs,
Yeah.
and 4 different age groups for children. And there's entertainment for them, I believe it's 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. So it's a long portion of the day.
Yeah.
They're entertained, looked after by qualified children's leaders. The club rooms themselves are fantastic, full of amazing facilities. On a number of ships we've got water slides, we've got lots of swimming pools, we've got arcades with arcade games for children. On the Fantasia class, so our 4 new bigger ships, we've got a racing car simulator, we've got a 4D cinema. So there's a huge amounts going on to keep families occupied. And it's interesting, last time I was on board, I went into the children's club, and there were children of all nationalities, all interacting with each other, because I think one of the interesting things with children, they don't feel so nervous about a language barrier. They're able to get on and play whether they speak the same language or not. And what was interesting talking to some of the children's leaders was that the kids have a fantastic time and learn something about other cultures while they're there as well, without even realising they're learning.
Well, that's actually a real bonus. It's a real, if you like, selling point and an attraction for travelling with you, because your children will get a chance to mix with other cultures, to bring on board that richness from travelling with other people.